Hello, everybody. It wouldn't be a rabble show if we weren't at least a minute late. That's the rules I live by. Always be late. Always leave them wanting more as well. Is what I've been told. I don't even know what that means, but that's what I've been told. Hello, everybody. Welcome along to pre-match build-up here on the Rangers Rabble. Hibs versus Rangers at Easter Road in the SPFL. And I forgot, but I will put it up right now. The starting 11, excuse me, is... in goal, Alan McGregor. Back four, James Tavernier, Connor Goldson, Ben Davies, Borna Barisic. Midfield, which I'm sure we will be discussing the most, if not up there with the striker. Jack, Raskin and Cantwell. And up front, we've got Fashion Jr., Kent, and like I said, Antonio Colak. I'm joined by Robert and Craig. Hello, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, everybody watching, everybody in the comments. Please like and subscribe and share and all that good stuff. It really, really helps us out. Robert, thoughts on the team, first of all? Not many surprises. I suppose the only surprise, if it is a surprise, is Colak starting up front.
No, listen, I'm delighted he's starting. I said the other night when I could get a word in that I thought he might start the game, and he has tonight. Cantwell starting as well is great. It's a bit of continuity. We're sort of playing the same team we've sort of played for the weekend. I did think with the manager's press conference of the week that Lundstrom may have come in because he praised him when he came on the park late on against Colak. But no, it's a strong lineup, and it's got to be the same sort of intensity and press for the off again tonight. I think you mentioned it the other night as well. It's all about building on that performance and seeing we got 45 minutes of them. Can we get an hour of them tonight? And more importantly, get a good result to take back down the road?
Oh, listen, 100%. I'm actually delighted with the starting lineup. I think it's all on the players now because, Craig, I think and there was talk amongst supporters, us included, that if he gets back to Lundstrom and Kamara for this game, if he even drops one of Raskin or Cantwell, then the manager's bringing all the pressure on himself. But he's playing the players who I would think the majority of supporters think should be playing, and now it's all on the players. Go out there and perform.
Yeah, these are the players that are pretty much guaranteed to be here next season, in my opinion. There's no point. My only concern was whether he would have looked at it as Hibernian. It's a Morelos game. We'll stick Morelos back in, which I'm sure we'll come on to. But that for me, when I saw the team earlier, I was absolutely buzzing. And for me, it's about putting the stamp on. For me, there's no point making changes tonight and then going back to this sort of team on Sunday. With all due respect to Raith Rovers, this is the game tonight where we play the best team, and then a few changes if we're going to make them come at the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't find the comment. I'm looking for it. I think it was Heather that put up, are you actually going to do anything with that top sitting behind me, or is it just purely for decoration? Yes, it will be given away, but it's going to be for our Patreon subscribers once we reach a set amount. All the information will be put out on Patreon after the 1st of April, after the big changeover from YouTube. The midfield itself, Robert, Jack, Raskin and Cantwell. Cantwell we'll discuss in a minute, but I'll be really interested to see how Jack and Raskin play together, especially for the start of the game.
Well, I think we saw it at the weekend. They played really well in tandem. I think Ryan Jack complimented them, let Raskin sort of get on the ball a bit more and go forward slightly more than we'd seen in previous games he'd played. So early signs look like a good pair, and Jack's got that experience in the league, hasn't he? So I'm hoping that he's sort of talking Raskin through things and sort of imposing himself on him a wee bit and sharing that experience. But the midfield three is looking as good as it has been. I think, as Craig says there, these look like the guys that could be taking us forward next season. I'm convinced Ryan Jack will get another year at least. Whether you like that or not, is entirely up to you. But I'm all for it. I know people think his injury record would sort of go against him here, but I'm happy for him to get another year because I think when he's on song, he's really, really good. So I think Craig's right. These guys are going to be the ones pushing us forward for next year. You look at the bench. I think somebody said there in the comments, John Lundstrom's on the bench, but is he more there as cover for centre back, because there's no centre backs on the bench, no Suter. Matondo's obviously come back in as well. Interesting to see what would happen there if heaven forbid something does happen to Connor Goldson or Ben Davies tonight.
Well, that's the worrying thing, I suppose, Craig, in respects of not so much Goldson. He's had that one injury, right? But that's a freak for him because he's played so many games. But Ben Davies has struggled with injuries. Now he's had a good run, and him and Goldson together look class. It looks like a very, very good partnership. But if that is our defensive cover, John Lundstrom, that's a worry.
Yeah, I mean, the only other option, I'm just looking at the team now. We've maybe, I know they've done it in the past where Barris has just gone into centre half, which gives me the absolute fear, but that is an option. And then maybe Adam Devine comes on at fullback, would be the only other option. I mean, Ryan Jack's played there this season, not very great in the game he played, but there's a couple of players who could, worst come to worst, could do a job at centre half if we really need it. I hadn't even looked at the bench, to be honest. I didn't even realise Matondo was on the bench.
We're going to come to that.
Is a surprise.
We're absolutely going to come to that. But Robert, just quickly on Hibs, they've won 4 out of the last 5. The other one being a draw. So they're coming into this tonight in good form. Regardless of who they're playing, they're in good form. Easter Road for us is a really difficult place to go. I'm pretty sure the stadium will be nearly full, if not full, because Rangers are in town. Because I think if Rangers aren't in town, they get about 7 people. And I'm going to have loads of people in the comments after this going, we fill the stadium, blah, blah, blah. But it's not going to be an easy game.
Listen, it's a different proposition to Saturday, that's for sure. It's a fixture I always look out for out with the Celtic game, because I really dislike these guys, and I think especially since that year in the Championship, it's sort of built a bit more of a rivalry as well. So no, you're right, an emotional night for them, it must be said. Obviously the passing the chairman and stuff, so I'm sure there'll be stuff done prior to the match. But as soon as the whistle goes, these two teams are known for going at each other, especially at this venue. So I expect nothing less for Rangers. A really intense battle on the pitch. When your battle's tonight, you win the game. I've not seen the Hibs lineup, so I can't really give you any insight into that. But you always know that they seem to turn up against Rangers first and foremost. So I think it will be a tough one tonight, but I do see us getting 3 points, Martin. I don't see us coming away with here than anything less. It won't be acceptable, will it?
Oh, God, no. Absolutely not. But like I say, I think the managers picked the correct team that if they don't perform, it comes back on the players. I don't think it comes back on the manager. But Craig, just quickly on Hibs then, just finally on Hibs before we move on to Rangers. What kind of Hibs are you expecting to see? Because I think this was talked about in the preview as well. When we played Hearts came at us. Hearts threw everything at us. Robert, if they were green, the fight is on. Any team the fight should be on. That's one of the issues that we seem to have. But I'm pretty sure Lee Johnston would have looked at the way that Hearts came at us and we destroyed them. However, Easter Road seems slightly different for us. It seems a bit more difficult than Tynecastle. So what do you expect for Hibs?
Like you say, they're in good form. Doesn't matter who they're playing. Winning breeds confidence for them. I expect maybe the first 10-15 minutes they'll come out and try and impose themselves on Rangers. And then I would expect them to go completely opposite to what Hearts did, because I said the other night that the Hearts game was our best performance under Michael Beale, but that was partly also because of the way that Hearts set up that night. They were very, very open, allowed us to play. I would expect Hibernian to try and hit us more on the break and try and sort of catch us out when they can. But I think if we impose ourselves on the game pretty early doors and hopefully get an early goal, like Robert, I can't see anything more than 3 points tonight, which is an absolute must.
Right, let's talk about what everybody's talking about, shall we, Robert? We have Ryan Jack, we have Ryan Kent, and we have Antonio Colak on the park now. All the chat seems to have just switched to contracts. Players maybe been left out because they won't be here next season. Do we read anything into the starting lineup tonight in terms of the manager's playing so-and-so because they're going to be here next season and he's not playing so-and-so because they're not going to sign a new contract? Do we read anything into that? Or is the manager simply just picked a team he thinks is capable of winning the game?
Well, I think people will read into that, Martin. You're not going to stop that. I think maybe the writing is on the wall for Alfredo Morelos in terms of moving on now, especially after the cup defeat. That maybe winning the trophy might have sort of been able to sway him. Good news if it is that case, then that Ryan Kent might be signing on the dotted line. But and I do think Ryan Jack will get another year. I think that's going to be the easiest one to do. I think the boy wants to stay. I don't think it'll be a big money offer to tie him down. So as for Antonio Colak, I think it's only right he keeps his players, because I thought he played really, really well. Probably his best game under Michael Beale at the weekend, and for him to get chucked back out, I don't think would have done him any confidence at all. So the manager said himself, I've done everything at the weekend but get a goal. And unlucky maybe not to get a goal as well. So maybe that comes tonight, because he looked sharp, I thought, at the weekend, linked up really well. The assist for Fashion, maybe a striker in his position that's hungry for a goal, may have just took that on himself and squandered the chance. So he's obviously a very intelligent player. And I think he showed us at the start of the season that if you play to his strengths and get him in and around the box, he's lively, he can get you goals. So I'm hoping he gets one tonight, and then obviously carries that into the weekend as well, because that game, I know it's against Wraith Rovers, is massive as well for the club. So no, tonight's a big one for Colak. I hope he gets a goal.
Well, see, Colak, right, Craig, I've made some statements about Antonio Colak and I've been laughed at, and I'm not going to repeat those statements because I'm fed up getting laughed at, right? But my biggest worry with Colak has always been that we do not play to his strengths. Now, Colak since came out and said, look, he's willing to change the way that he plays to benefit the team, etc., etc. We sort of seen that in the last game slightly, but I'll always have that worry that we don't play to his strengths, because if we did, he would score a barrel load of goals. So with that said, was the manager correct to start him?
He's absolutely correct to start him. The other option would have been Morelos, and if, like Robert said, if he's not going to be here next season, we need to stop looking back and hoping that, oh, if we play Alfie, he might sign. If he's going to be out the door, then we need to play the striker that's more than likely to be here to next season. I totally agree, though. If we play to his strengths, he will score 20, 25 goals a season. He's just that good a finisher. As we saw at the start of the season, he was pretty much single-handedly the reason we got through most games, and we were so close to Celtic at the start of the season, was the number of goals he was scoring. The worst thing for him was obviously getting that injury, because then when Beale's come in, he's never, up until now, never really had a good chance at putting his stamp on the club. But for me, we yes, he can adapt his game, but surely it's going to be a bit easier for us to adapt how we play with Colak.
Right. CGM. To be fair, Martin, some of your Colak chat has been a wee bit outrageous. Not wrong, but perhaps controversial. Robert, what's controversial with saying that if Antonio Colak played exactly the same amount of games as Chris Boyd and we played to his strengths, that he would score more goals than Chris Boyd?
I don't think that's controversial at all. I think that's, a guy watching a player, seeing what he does well, and putting that out there. I think I tend to agree that he's not the sort of, he's the different player to Morelos completely. But if you get the ball in the box, 9 times out of 10, I'm confident this man takes his chance. He's no. I was at the St Mirren game earlier on this season. He's got a couple of lovely goals that day. I know it's St Mirren, but he's got to put the ball in the back of the net. So the talent's there. He's never been really prolific in his career. Looking back at his stats, however, he's at Glasgow Rangers now. He's going to have to be prolific, and I think there's an element with Colak that he is kind of playing for his own future, because we're going to need to bring in 2, possibly 3, depending on what happens with Roof, strikers next season, 2 minimum. And there's no guarantee that Colak's going to start. So he's got from now until the end of the season to show Michael Beale, I'm your man, I'm your number 9. You don't need to go and buy £5 million man or whatever. I'm your man, pick me. That's what he's got to do for every game from now until the end of the season. Show Michael Beale why he can do what you've said and go and do a Chris Boyd for Rangers. I'm confident in him. I'm confident for him.
Is there a slight worry, just looking at for the shoe on the other foot, Craig, about Alfie being in the bench, and I've seen a lot of this chat as well, that look, if it's not going our way, and we need to bring Alfie on, he's not the best sub. He never really comes on and impacts a game. Is that fair?
No, I think saying it about Colak might be different, because from what I've seen this season, Colak doesn't really influence the game coming on as a sub. I think he's much better as a starter. There have been games where Alfie has come off the bench and made a difference, in both good ways and bad ways. But yeah, he's come off the bench at times, and I think he's a much better option off the bench when their defenders are tiring, if we do need a goal. What I would like to see, though, is if we are struggling, and I hope to sort of everything that we're not tonight, because it should be a relatively easy game if we're on form, is that if we are struggling, he puts Morelos and Colak up front for more than about 5 minutes like he did on Saturday.
Aye, well, yeah, that's massive. Although, does that suit Morelos, Robert, the 2 playing up top?
It's difficult to say, Mark. We've not seen enough of it, but I would say it's probably too late in the day to be trying to fit Morelos into a 2 when he's always played primarily up top on his own. And if he's not going to be staying, then why would you want to pursue that and keep that going? So I think we just need to look at the last time we played these and Morelos sort of get himself sent off. So maybe that's gone against him in this one.
Yeah, but there's no Porteous tonight, Robert. Is there? I don't know if there's anybody in their team who's as big a wind-up merchant as Porteous, because I don't watch them.
But Martin, I think with the opposition sides, regardless of Porteous or not, it doesn't matter if it's Hibs or any of the others. They all know Morelos is there to be got at times. So it doesn't take rocket science if he is on the park and you can see he's in that mood to get at him nice and early. So I think it allows Rangers to focus on their game and take that sort of out of it. I think the manager touched on when Jack gets a yellow card, he starts Bill's heart rate starts going to be back because he's thinking, is he going to get another one? So I think it's important that tonight that we focus on our style of play, because I've not seen enough under Michael Beale of a style of play. I mean, the 45 minutes of the weekend was, I think, as good as we've looked in terms of press, intensity, getting the ball back, recoveries. And I think, Todd Cantwell, I hope he can show us some more of that, because he was a joy to watch at the weekend.
Do you think it's just a case then, Craig, or Cantwell just been given exactly the same role? Just float about, do what you want, come back, win the ball, try and make things happen going forward? Do you think that's his role moving forward? I
think he was the epitome. I think someone mentioned the other day, I think if the epitome of covering every blade of grass, it was Todd Cantwell at the weekend. And I would have been absolutely furious if he hadn't been in that starting lineup tonight.
There's no danger. There's no way Craig, he couldn't have been selected.
I saw it mentioned at the weekend that Ben Davies got the sponsors man of the match, which I thought was a travesty, because Todd Cantwell was, from the game I saw, Todd Cantwell was the best player on the pitch. But that's the quality he brings from being a Premier League player. As we mentioned when we were interested in signing him and signed him, this is a lad that's played at Old Trafford, Emirates, Stamford Bridge, Anfield. He's not phased from what I can see in playing any games. He'll just go out tonight and play football, and he's probably the player that is best equipped for this sort of game, because the number of fouls he'll win in sort of dangerous areas or take the pressure off will be key. And obviously I'm hoping tonight he pings one in the top corner, which will be just a bit of a reward for his good form so far.
I'm seeing a few people talking about Tillman, Robert, in the comments, and that he's obviously still not fit enough to take part. And I was going to ask you, does that make the decision to play him in the cup final even more baffling? But I'm going to just gloss over that, because we could be here for the next 40 minutes talking about that. I want to talk about Kent and Sakala, but before I do, let's just have a quick look at the bench. There's a name on there, Rabbi Matondo. Have we been all too quick to write this boy off? Do you see any way back for him?
It's very difficult, isn't it, for him, because he's no showing enough for me to give you any real hope. I mean, I watched him in the pre-season game at Blackpool, and then I think against West Ham at Ibrox, and was really excited. I thought, we've got a play here, and then he's never ever shown anything since that. I mean, you saw him up at Dingwall under Michael Beale. I think he came on, he had a one-on-one, and it just looked like a player shot of confidence as he went through and go. And we've not really seen him since, I don't think. So it's tough for him. He's going to need, if Michael Beale is confident he can get a player, turn him into a player for Rangers, then he's going to need time on the park. So you're going to need to get three goals up in games with 30 minutes left to play, and bring him on. Where does he play along that front three? Does he play on the left? Does he play on the right? No one seems to really know what's best for him. And I think Fashion has sort of jumped in ahead of him at the moment. And then you saw the cup game where Scott Wright comes on as well. So you're thinking, where does he fit into all of this? Personally, if it was me and you could get some money for him, because I know he's on a high wage, or reportedly, on a high wage, I would try and move him on. I just think it's not worked out for him. And if you persevere for another season with him on a big part of your budget in terms of wages, then it might hinder somebody else coming in and getting another opportunity. So I don't know. I don't see where he fits in from now until the end of the campaign.
What I will say is, Craig, and I'm not saying that the supporters gave him 18 months, right? But Borna Barisic was at the club for 18 months. And he was getting a bit of stick, don't get me wrong, right? And maybe 18 months is far too long, right? But anyways, he started picking up a bit for him. We all started loving him. Pacers in the comments, look, Matondo's only 22. It's Beale's job to manage him. Kenny, if I can get it on, he's not been played in his position or played much under Beale. Give the boy a chance. I kind of agree with that. I think he should be given a chance. He's obviously had a horrendous injury. He's clearly suffering for low confidence. So surely to God, we have to just, trust Beale, trust Matondo to a point and just wait and see Beale can do anything with him. But he has been written off, probably correctly, but it is, I'm contradicting myself. But it has been written off probably correctly by the supporters. But should we not just try and give him a chance?
Yeah, I mean, he's going nowhere.
Sorry, Craig, that's probably the worst question I've ever asked in my life. My apologies.
He's going nowhere for the next 3 or 4 months, is he? So he can't go anywhere at the moment. So there's no harm in giving him a run out. Somebody mentioned it in the comments was the thing I was going to say. I think a lot Rabbi Matondo's Rangers career for me will rest on whether Ryan Kent re-signs. If Ryan Kent re-signs next season, Matondo might be out the door. If he does go, Ryan Kent, then Matondo could have a chance playing next season on the left. Because what the few bits I have seen of him playing on the left, he looks a lot more dangerous than he looked on the right. And I'm like Robert, I saw him at Blackpool in the pre-season. I saw him against West Ham, and I was sort of rubbing my hands together thinking, oh boy, we got a player here. And maybe he just didn't have the best start to the season, and obviously that's then impacted. He looks to me like very much like a arm around the shoulder type player that if he's not in the right frame of mind, a kick up the backside is not going to do it for him. He needs a sort of arm around the shoulder and a bit of confidence in him. But let's see. I mean, I'd be quite confident of giving him a run out on Sunday. Obviously, depending on how tonight goes, and see how we look for the weekend.
Can I just say, Martin, as well, sorry, just to come back on Matondo, it is important that we assess him between now and the end of this season, because Michael Beale's telling us that we're going into next season with a smaller squad, and I don't think you can go into a season with a smaller squad still assessing players for this campaign. I think that would be detrimental. So you've got to go in next season with guys for positions that you can rely on, and at the minute, I'm not sure we can rely on this boy. I hope he proves me wrong between now and the end of the season. Get his chance, absolutely. But if he doesn't show between now and come the end of the campaign, then I think it is time to cut our losses on him.
Final point tonight then, Robert, so we can let everybody get away for the game. Ryan Kent, want to see a good performance for him?
Listen, I think we say this again. Every game it's important Ryan Kent gives a good performance, and there was a sort of a debate the other night between William going on about players like Kent and Morelos and what they do for the team, out with assists and goals. And as much as, yes, that is important, these guys have got to get numbers. They're big players in the squad, and I don't feel that they're doing that. So Ryan Kent's got to turn it on, because when he does turn it on, he's fabulous to watch first and foremost, but also he's important about getting us up the pitch and winning free kicks, and if he can score a goal or assist, it's even better. So when Ryan Kent's on form, Rangers are on form, certainly. But I don't think he was at his free-flowing best in the cup final, and he was decent in the first half against Colak. I'll give him that, but I think everyone sort of tailed off in the second half. So we'll see what he brings tonight. As you say, there is if he's not playing well, then Matondo's an option off the bench.
Exactly. Then that's probably what he needs. He needs a wee bit of pressure. Craig, prediction, please. And everybody in the comments, get your predictions in really quickly. We've got 90 seconds left of the show. So, Craig, prediction and first goal scorer.
3-1 Rangers, Antonio Colak.
Like it. Robert?
2-0 Rangers, James Tavernier.
2-0. Will it be a penalty?
I hope so.
I hope so. I've only got one prediction in so far, and it's Pacer. He's going 2-3. He's not gave me a player. I usually only accept a player, but we haven't really had that.
Well, I don't like Philip Gage. What's he playing at tonight?
3-3. 2-2.
Well,
I'm not going to bring it up because it's bad luck. It's really, really bad luck. Aldo's going 3-1 Raskin first goal. CGM 7-0 Rangers Raskin. Like it. Sharpie 2-0 Rangers Colak. Cammy 3-1 Raskin. 4-1 Colak. They're all going down the same route here. 3-1 Goldson. Let's hope it is something along those lines. Let's hope we give him a right good pasting. That would be lovely. We will be back shortly after the game with reaction, of course. If you are subscribed and you've got the wee notification button clicked, you will know when we are coming back on. It's usually about 10 minutes after the game. It depends on the result, if we need to calm down or we're happy. It just depends.
We'll be happy.
We will be
Yeah,
happy,
we'll
of course.
be
We will.
happy.
We're going to win comfortably tonight. Thank you, and please make sure you like and subscribe. Likes help share the show, and subscriptions. If you subscribe, it just makes us look more important than we actually are if we've got more subscribers. So that's always handy. And if you enjoy the content and you want more, then you can join our Patreon. The link for that is in the description. So thank you all for watching. Go and enjoy the game, and we'll see you shortly after a comfortable Rangers win. See you soon.